clear advantages.
Yeah.
At the same time, there were some uncomfortable realities about being a woman there. We see it in the movie. But in real life, you had a weird experience interviewing Nawaz Sharif,
right,
the former Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Well, he's now the Prime Minister of Pakistan again. Yeah.
And what happened there?
Well, we had first met in person after Benazir Bhutto was killed, which is obviously a horrible time in the country. And we met, we had sort of a funny conversation, you know, where I was supposed to get, I think, 15 or 20 minutes with him, and he kept asking me to ask more questions. And so at this point, you know, I'm through all my main questions, and I'm just repeating myself. But, you know, we had like a rapport, and it's always nice as a journalist when you find somebody who's willing to talk to you and answer your questions, who's obviously in a position of power, and he's the head of the opposition. He's also funny, you know, and so we would joke around together. And like, you know, it got to the point where I could call him and I could get comment for stories, and so I would help other correspondents get comments for stories. And then at a certain point he asked me, you know, it's like we were alone in a room and I was interviewing him, and it was strange because, you know, normally we had other people with us, and he asked me if I had a friend. I think that was in August of 2008.
If you had a friend.
If I had a friend. Okay. You know, do you have a friend, Kim? And I said, yeah, I have a lot of friends. You know, what are we talking about here? And so then he pushes, and I go, oh, do you mean like a friend, a special? I mean, the way they use friend over there, and they play with this in the movie, I'm like, what are we talking about here? You know, and it turns out he wanted to know if I had a boyfriend, and I said, you know, I had one, and I just, you know, we just broke up. I'm kind of thinking, like, where's this going? And he says, well, you know, I would like to help you find a friend. And so then he's offering to set me up, and he asked me for my criteria, and I said, you know, somebody tall, somebody smart, and somebody funny. And so he went through those criteria, clarifying them, and he said, like, he would look, but admitted that tall was very difficult in a country like Pakistan because it is a short people, and I'm 5'10". So, you know, and then it was just sort of a joke, and I ran this past other Pakistani friends, and they said, oh, he's just acting like your Punjabi uncle. You know, and so this goes on for a while. There's an awkward lunch in there, you know, and then there's the bombing in Mumbai. And I realized that he's the person I need to go see because I want to try to find the village where the one surviving bomber was from, and that was in his province of Punjab. So I went to go see him for what turned out to be the last time. And he had joked about, like, saying he wanted to buy me a phone. I thought he was joking. He wanted to buy me a phone so that we could talk without the ISI listening to us, which is a, you know, spy agency in Pakistan. And so at this last conversation, he basically asked my translator to leave. I didn't even need a translator, but I sort of felt like I wanted somebody in the room.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, he basically offered me the iPhone. I said no. And then he said, I know I'm not as tall as you want. I'm not as fit as you want. I'm fat and I'm old, but I'd still like to be your friend. Aww. So that was the line. It hasn't taken off yet in bars nationwide, but I'm hopeful. I'm ever hopeful. And that was awkward.
I might try that one out.
It was awkward.